Hey cats, what's happening? Looks like I picked up quite a few bug splatters on my windshield yesterday. The bugs are still pretty prevalent this time of year, even though it's rolling into fall. Seems like we have had kind of an outbreak of these crane flies. They look like huge mosquitoes and pretty harmless, but they're just everywhere. Anyway, topic for discussion today. If you're a biker, if you're an old school biker, if you're any kind of a biker and you've ever held a job, have you ever had a conflict with your employer in regards to you being a biker? I can tell a few stories, I'm sure you guys can too, over the years. Of course, I'm retired now, no longer working, so I am my own boss, and that's a good thing. So yeah, no conflicts here with myself that I can think of. Goes back to, even as a young man, when I first had my job, I used to ride my motorcycle to work all the time. And where I worked, it was a big gravel parking lot. And right next to the gravel parking lot was a service road where all the heavy equipment came in and out all day long. So when they drove across all that gravel road, they were always throwing up all kinds of dust and debris, and the scooter would just get covered with dirt and dust. And I wasn't very happy about that, so what I would do then, when I pulled my work truck out of the garage, out of the service bay, I'd pull my bike in and park it where my work truck was, close the door and lock it up, and it would stay nice and clean all day. At the end of the day, I'd roll it out and pull my work truck in, and I was ready to go home with a nice clean bike. Well, that worked fine until the boss realized that I was parking my bike in the garage, and he wasn't too happy about that, and put an end to it very abruptly. I would no longer park my motorcycle in the company garage at any time. Okay, no reason given, that's just the way it was. Hey, if I let you do it, I have to let everybody park their vehicles in the garage. Oh, really? Okay. You've heard that one before. So, whatever. I ended up having to park my bike out in the dust and the dirt and just live with it the best I could. Another biker buddy of mine had, of course, my arms are fairly clean except for some scars that I have. Had the full sleeve tats, and the employer told him that he was no longer able to wear any short sleeve shirts. He had to completely cover his arms with a long sleeve shirt, no matter what the weather was, no matter what the temperature was. Glad I wasn't him. And for the most part, he kind of obeyed that rule, but when the boss wasn't around, the sleeves got rolled up for sure. Now, back when I was younger, I had long hair, and I've had this facial hair, this Fu Manchu for quite a while too. Before I had the Fu Manchu, though, I had hair down to my shoulders, and in the morning when I came into work, it was almost like military camp. They made everybody line up against the wall, and the superintendent would come in and he'd walk down there and inspect everybody and make sure they were ready to go to work. And button your shirt. Where's your belt? When he got to me, he always grabbed my hair and pulled my hair back, and he'd say, "You need a haircut. Don't come into work tomorrow unless your hair is cut." And I never did cut my hair. I never let that bother me. But I got harassed for it constantly by him. In fact, he used to come up to me and just jab his finger right into my chest, right into my sternum. And if you ever had that done, it kind of hurts. And he would poke at me like that and tell me, "You don't come into work tomorrow until you got a haircut." Well, finally one day I grabbed his finger and I said, "Don't you ever poke me again with that finger." That was the last time he ever poked me, but he still liked to pull on my hair. Later in my career, we had another superintendent come in. The old one went away. Years went by, and a new younger superintendent come in there, and he was going to sweep the floor, he was going to clean things up, and he was going to run a tight ship. And the first thing he told me was, cut the mustache. Well, I wasn't too happy about that, you know. I mean, it took me maybe over a year to even get it halfway this long, so I wasn't real eager to chop it off. But he pretty much threatened my job and said, you'll either cut it off or you're going to get demoted to the bottom of the barrel, so take care of it. So reluctantly, I took the scissors to it and cut it at least, you know, just above my chin. He wasn't real happy with that. He wanted it up to the corner of my mouth, but I never did comply with that, and he never did demote me either. But again, hassled because of my mustache. Didn't fit his mold. So yeah, it's kind of tough when you have to work for an employer and they have all these special, you know, little rules and regulations that you have to abide by. And some of us bikers have a certain look or a way that we dress or the way that we have facial hair that really doesn't comply very well with our job. And it can cause some friction. Probably one of the best stories I have in that regard was, and I just talked about this in the previous video, about the wallet chain that hooks to your belt and then it runs back to your wallet. And I always have worn a wallet chain. It was just part of the way I dressed. And so I got a promotion at work, and my uniform changed. They made me wear these black BDUs. The BDU is like a pair of trousers that you'll see the SWAT officers wearing with the little side pockets, and they're just like police type. Although I wasn't in law enforcement in any way, shape, or form. That was part of my uniform, the black BDU pants. And then I had to wear like a tan polo shirt. I didn't like the uniform, I hated it, but I still wore my wallet chain and kept my wallet in my back pocket with the chain coming up on my black trousers. I didn't think anything about it. Well, one day I had to go to a board meeting at the main headquarters where everybody sits at the round table. You'll have the director there, the superintendent, the heads of departments there. And I was given a seat there at the table to make a presentation on some of the projects I had been working on. So they went around the table and made their different reports, the director's report and the secretary's report and all that. And they came around and they called on me. Well, I went to stand up to make my presentation, and my wallet chain got caught on the arm of the chair. Now, they were these office chairs, pretty comfortable, you know, but you can tilt back in them, and they got arms on them. And the chain caught around the arm of that chair. And when I stood up, that chair flipped over backwards and went flying, and I almost lost my balance too because the chain was pretty much connected to the chair. And talk about an embarrassing situation. I got myself untangled and got my composure back and made my presentation. And I think I was sweating pretty profusely because as I looked around the room there, I looked around the table, nobody was smiling, nobody was laughing. They all had these glum looks on their face like, you know, I had disrupted their corporate meeting. Oh my gosh. So the meeting ended, and everybody was filing out of the room, and that's when the superintendent grabbed me by the arm and said, "Stick around, have a seat." Well, I knew it was coming. He sat down across from me and said, "Look, you're going to lose the biker chain, and you're going to lose it now. I don't ever want to see it again. You want to keep this job, you're going to have to maintain the appearance that I expect of you. And that chain is not part of your uniform." Okay, no problem. I knew one thing for sure. I wouldn't be going to a corporate meeting again with my wallet chain. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So anyway, those are my stories. I'm sure you guys have plenty of stories about conflicts with your employer, with your boss, because of the fact that you're a biker. Leave your comments down below. Love to read them. I like to hear your stories, and everybody else likes to read them too. So don't be shy. If you haven't yet, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the video. Appreciate you hanging around. Until next time, cats, ride hard and die free.